Good morning, boaters. Just a quick housekeeping tip. The easiest maintenance that you could probably do on your outboard units, whether it's a Mercury or a Yamaha, is change out that lower unit. Keeping that lower unit flushed and lubricated with good new oil helps alleviate a lot of big problems. So I'll walk you through a quick and easy way to change out your lower unit. First, you're going to need a little bit of equipment. Catch basin, little catch tub, just to catch the little bit of oil that you drain out of your lower units. Obviously a replacement oil specific to your motor, whether it be Mercury oil or Yamaha oil. Now in a pinch you could probably use them both either way, because I think they both would work, but try to stay within your brand if possible. When you buy an oil change kit, lower unit oil change kit, it'll come with this little pump hose that you connect into your lower unit, and that allows you to pump the fluid back into the system. A prop wrench will help remove that propeller if you're using a Mercury. Yamaha is not required. You can do it without removing the prop. So let's walk it through. Now on the Yamaha, it's pretty easy because the screws to remove that lower unit oil are right on the side of your lower unit. One on the very bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but it's right there on the very bottom. And then that's your top screw. You would remove the bottom screw and then the top screw to let that oil come out. You want to put your catch basin underneath that to collect that oil. It's usually about 16 ounces of oil depending on the motor. But taking off that top screw will put air behind fluid and allow it to drain quicker, kind of like the straw concept. But that's a Yamaha. I'll show you on a Merc. Now on a Mercury, you're going to have to access that lower screw on your lower unit, and to do that you're going to have to remove the prop. So make sure you have a prop wrench handy, a little prop stop, so you can turn that nut off. But once you remove the propeller, you notice there's that lower screw. That lower screw is what you need to access. And then on most Mercuries, just like most lower units, there's a side top screw right there. You're going to want to open that to let the fluid drain. And then that's also your indicator on either your Yamaha or your Mercury. When you pump that fluid back in, once you've drained it all and you're putting new fluid in, once it gets up to that top screw, you know you're done. That's when you want to stop pumping, and that's when you want to put your screws back on. But let's get to it. So first I'm going to unscrew the bottom screw, getting a big flathead, and you're just going to unscrew that. Super simple. Once you get it unscrewed, see if I can show you this, and there she goes. Notice the little yellow gasket. You want to make sure and you inspect that gasket. This one looks good, but if it was ripped or compressed, you would want to replace that. You notice it's barely draining because I don't have the top screw open, but once you undo that top screw right there, it'll start to go. There she goes. And there's the top screw. Same thing there. Yellow gasket, you want to make sure that that's in place and not damaged. Good idea just to change it. You notice the Mercury fluid is blue. It's almost kind of the distinction that Mercury puts into their fluids. Oil looks good. I don't see any shavings or water in it. Typically when you drain this out, if you had some water, it would float to the surface, but we'll inspect it at the very end. But what you're looking for are like metal shavings or water getting into the fluid. All right, I'll get back to it once this thing drains out. So as you notice, the pump that they send you has a little threaded nub right there, and you just want to thread that right into the screw slot. Get that nice and tight, and then start pumping. Let me show you that. Okay, now that I got it threaded into the screw hole, you just want to start pumping. Pump away. You're going to pump until you see that oil start coming out the top screw hole. And when you see that start coming out the top screw hole, you know you're done. Once you see it's coming through, stop pumping. Put the top screw back in place so it won't drain out as you unscrew the pump. And then you close up the bottom screw, put your prop back on, and you're pretty much done. That's how easy it is. Let me pump away and show you what happens when it comes out the top. And there you go. You see it shoot out the top, and that's right about half the jug, about 16, 17, 18 ounces. Now I think the Yamaha takes a full one. It really just depends on the size motor you have. But once you see that done, take your nut, put it back on. The gasket's already there, so you can just thread it on. Take your flathead, tighten up shop, take a rag, wipe that off. You're always going to get a little bit of spill. Try to clean up all that as much as possible. When you first dump it back in the water, you may get a tiny little oil slick from it, but usually you don't want to see oil slicks. That's a good indicator of either you have a leak somewhere around your motor, or you might not have tightened your nut good enough. So pay attention that first couple days, or really first day that you're using that boat again. Make sure you don't get any oil slick past that first 5 minutes of just cleaning the motor up. So yeah, unscrew the bottom, put that screw back in place, and you'll be closing up shop. So I got the nut back in place and it's ready to button back up. Just reverse the steps that you took to put the prop on. Just depends on the type of prop you have. Inspecting my oil, looks pretty good. We're all buttoned back up and she's ready to rock. Hope that 5-minute housekeeping tip helps you out. If you're a boater, it's real important to keep that maintenance up. Get several years out of those motors if possible. Now, if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, and definitely share these videos because it really helps us to spread the word. Until next time, tight lines.